Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Coach Kirb Sports Talk with Kirby and Bergie, episode number 18. And Bergie, what's going on, man?
Hey, very little. I saw a cloud outside today. I got pretty excited, so things are hopefully turning around for us weather-wise.
It rained in Waxahachie today. I had to turn my windshield wipers on.
Lucky.
Hey, and Barry, how you doing? I'm glad you joined us tonight.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Got Barry Sanders back there.
Goat.
Yep. we have a special guest tonight. Probably our last guest for a while, actually, because we start cranking football season up. Brad Cooksey, former Eisenhower Eagle, former Cameron Aggie, former assistant basketball coach at Eisenhower under the great Bruce Harrington, who was with us last week.
Tutelage.
Yeah. And also a very close friend, longtime friend of Butch Huskey, who, as we know, passed away on the 14th of August. We just want to bring Brad on to talk about Butch a little bit, talk about a couple other things. Brad, welcome, man. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, good to see you guys. Kirby, it's always good to see you. It's been a while. Grant, it's been forever since I've seen you. So it's good to see some fellow Eagles being successful and doing your thing.
Well, we appreciate you, buddy. You're still a living legend. Don't let anybody else tell you different.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah. No doubt.
Well, thank you. But in my own mind, right?
Yeah, and I'm not talking about just on the court, like in all avenues of life. That's what I'm working on. But yeah, we appreciate you.
Hey, no problem. It's good to be here. It's good to see you guys.
You're in Blanchard, right?
I'm in Blanchard, America. Yes.
Blanchard, America. You and Harrington both up there.
Yeah.
Okay. Right
we
around the
moved up
corner.
here.
Go ahead.
We moved up here about 5 years ago. Carson, my oldest son, was going into a sophomore year, and Colin was going into his. My youngest son was going into his 8th grade year. So we moved up here. Karen works with the school system. She's got a great job. She's assistant superintendent up here for Blanchard Public Schools.
Okay.
Sweet.
Nice.
Yeah, we're really happy up here. Grant, you appreciate this. Blanchard is a big time baseball school.
It is.
Yeah,
it is. I got a good buddy who moved from my area here in North Texas to Blanchard, and his son plays on the baseball team, and so I kind of live vicariously through them on the social media. But yeah, you got a little powerhouse there emerging there in Blanchard, and have been for a little bit of time.
Yeah, baseball's been strong throughout the last 30 or 40 years. Sonny Vermillion was the coach and kind of got that thing going, and then it feeds itself. And fortunately for us, we're able to we won a state championship in football, and I guess it was Carson's senior year, it's 23, and then made it to the state tournament in basketball twice. And then won 2 baseball state championships along with it. So it worked out great for the boys, and we're happy. And so these are good times.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome, especially as a dad,
cool.
right? When you played, it was really cool, but then as a dad, it's just different, isn't it?
Yeah, it just adds a little bit more intensity and sensitivity to the situation. Watching your boys play and watching them grow up and become young men, and man, it's a different deal now. That just keeps you to the next step of life. You know what I mean? So
yes, sir.
Here we go.
Here we are,
definitely.
guys. Here we are.
Yep. Yeah, we used to drive through Blanchard before they built the spur, I-44 spur, whatever it is, H.E. Bailey spur. We used to drive through Blanchard a lot going to Norman for OU games. So
you exit right there at Chickasha and take that old highway through Blanchard. Absolutely, it's a speed trap. Be careful.
It is.
Yes, sir.
Well, we don't do it anymore. So we get on that. Now we get on that road, we can go 80 on. So
that's right.
Well, Brad, first, we want to talk a little bit about Butch. Obviously, we lost him almost 2 weeks ago. I can't believe it's been almost 2 weeks, but still, the services were last week. They were awesome, and Brad, just how long or where were you? How did you find out the news about Butch? Were you at home? Were you at work or?
Man, that's crazy that you asked that question because nobody's really asked me that. But it was my youngest son, who I mentioned earlier, Colin. We were moving him into his apartment in college. Karen was at work, and my dad had met us up there, and we were in the room, and I got a phone call from Karen and said, "Hey, I don't know what's going on, but you need to check this out." So, of course, making a couple of calls and finding out, man, I was sitting there in my son's apartment room, when I officially got the news, and what was such a happy day, great day, moving in your youngest son into college, just suddenly turned, and it was just kind of a dark cloud. And I'm glad, Karen wasn't with me. I'm glad my dad was with me. Dad and Butch had a really good relationship, and so with him being there, and of course Colin always, the boys were raised with Butch, and because Kennedy's the same age as Carson, the oldest one, but yeah, man, that was a tough pill to swallow that day, that Friday. I remember it, man. I remember it.
Yeah, that's what I said last week. Said you're always going to remember where you were when you got that news. I was on 287 driving to Lawton. So I just left. I just left like 10 minutes before that because I knew what was going on. I was coming anyway. That's what was weird. I was already packed and ready to go, so I just took off a little bit earlier than expected. But man, it's still hard to believe, still a shock, but. We got to move on. He wouldn't want us to move on. That's what we're trying to do.
I did talk to Christy this afternoon.
Okay.
And that was one of the things that we both said was, it's just hard to. She made the comment that she and the girls think he's gonna be walking through the front door, anytime, and it's just hard to to fathom and the realization of it. And it is for us too. I know talking to a lot of me, Butch and I's close friends, we even as early or as late as today as well, disbelief. I mean, we're just kind of in shock. And Butch was always kind of the big immovable object, Big Butch, and it's hard. It's been a tough pill to swallow for all of us.
Still is. Grant,
hey Brad, when you think back, about your friendship and your brotherhood with Butch. When y'all hung out, right, back in your prime, what did that look like? What were y'all doing when y'all just connected and hooked? I mean, obviously, it's not a family show necessarily, but feel free to throw something out. Like, what did that look like? How am I going to go hang out with Butch? What kind of trouble did y'all get into?
Man, here's the deal with Butch. Butch, Joe made a comment at the funeral. He was a one percenter. I mean, what he meant by that is, he made it, and he didn't. And I think Joe and Curtis both said it. Is he could have totally blown off, Lawton and his people and his he could have easily took the high road, as you see a lot of these guys do. But that wasn't Butch, man. Butch liked to come back home and hang out with his boys. And what I say about hanging out, I mean, just as simple as, hanging out, watching TV and drinking a cold beer and cooking out and going fishing, going hunting, going to watch people play sports. I mean, that's kind of what we did. I mean, so Grant, that's a really good question, and I wish there was something elaborate I could, tell you about. But man, it wasn't that. I mean, he really and literally enjoyed hanging out with his people. I mean, he really did. And I recall, obviously we go, to the bars and we go out and eat and hang out and do all that good stuff. But Butch really liked to do the simpler stuff. I mean, he really did. And like I said, I mentioned fishing. He loved to fish, and he liked being a part of the country, I guess is kind of the correct way to say that. He that was kind of his roots, and I always appreciated that about him. He grew up in Anadarko and Lawton, kind of split time, and he never forgot that. I mean, he would go back. Obviously, he still had some relatives, on his dad's side that were from Anadarko, and he really did a good job of going back there and showing them the love and spreading it. There in Anadarko, but he also, man, he loved his Lawton people, and whether he went to high school with you or played with you or met you somewhere down the line, somewhere in between, on the golf course. I know, we spent a lot of time on the golf course.
There you go.
Butch was really good, man, and there's some good stories, about that. With him on the golf course, he could hit it when he was playing. When he was playing regularly, like we all. The more we play, the better you are. But man, there was at one point he was really, really good scratch golfer.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that didn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
Grant, what's funny about that? We asked Curtis kind of the same thing. What would y'all do when y'all would just favorite memories with Butch? Just what Brad just said. That's the exact same thing. Just hanging out. Harrington has said the same thing. We talked about the Wednesday nighters last week. The Wednesday night when all the coaches would come over on game week or whatever, and Butch. You would never know he was a major league base. He was just hanging out with us.
Yeah,
You know.
and again, and that kind of reiterates what I was saying earlier. You know, that's great, man. I remember those. Those were some good times. That was back in the late '90s, early 2000s.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and
mid to
Butch
late '90s.
Yeah, Butch would come home after the football season, after the baseball season, which is September, October, whatever that time frame is. So football was rolling, and back in those days, Pat, Eisenhower, we were good,
Pretty good.
And, we had a great coaching staff, and matter of fact, I saw on the on Facebook when you made the post about this podcast today. I think Tinker made a comment. Tinker was one of the guys.
Yeah.
Coach Dean and Coach Little and Coach Burris. I mean, so they're really good guys. Coach Whiteley, and Coach Harrington and I were the basketball coaches. And man, it was just a good time. Coach Kirby, you were part of that staff too. Man, on Wednesday night, it just kind of became a deal.
Yeah.
I mean, it just became a deal. Let's meet over there. And when Butch got home, he had every right to say, "Man, I don't want to do this. I'm tired. I want to relax." But man, he loved it.
He did.
I mean, he loved for people to come over, and we cooked out, had a good time. And then afterwards we'd go do whatever. But that speaks to what kind of guy he was and what he liked to do. He wanted to hang with his people, and his people were just us guys, and he cherished that. He loved that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Bergie, you got something?
No, I'm
Before
good.
I move on. Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
One funny golf story. I forgot about this one until Akeem mentioned it. Jennifer's husband last week when we were at Robin's last weekend. We were just sitting around talking, and Akeem brought up the time me and Akeem when Robin and not Robin, Christy and Butch and I think Kennedy. I don't think Kirby was born yet. Yeah, she was down here too. But anyway, we go play golf with Butch. Me and Akeem. That was an experience for Butch.
Yeah,
that was an experience for Butch, and Akeem and I are terrible. And I think, no offense, Akeem, but I could probably beat Akeem if he and I played. Just he and I played.
Wow, I'd like to see that.
Yeah, if you're worse and Akeem was not very good, and I'm not either, but it was funny because Akeem reminded me last week. Said Butch would take out this scope and he would look and see how far the
rangefinder.
Yeah. And Akeem said last week, I was thinking, you don't need that against playing with us. You don't need that. You don't need to waste time with that. I remember him telling Butch that, Butch, you can put that up, man. You don't need that today. But Butch had it out every single hole, look at every shot, looking at the rangefinder is what it was called.
Yeah,
so
he wasn't competing against you guys though. He was competing against par, wasn't he?
Yeah. Hey, so on that, Pat, talk about golf. I'm gonna tell you something about Butch in regards to golf. Then I'm gonna tell you a story about my involvement with a certain golf game that I was privileged to have with him. But the one thing about Butch, and I mean, it spoke to why he was such a good baseball player. His eyesight was impeccable. As you, Grant, this playing baseball, man. As you're in the batter's box and you're trying to pick it up, you're picking it up out of the pitcher's hand, to see. The way it comes out or how they're holding it or whatever, you learn to do that, and his eyesight had trained him to do that. But on the golf course, when you got on the greens, man, there wasn't anybody better at reading greens or reading putts than Butch. I mean, he just had that knack. His eyesight was impeccable, and that spoke to to why he was such a good good baseball player. Well, good athlete. His hand-eye coordination was so good, and his eyesight was just great. He could read those greens, and I'm terrible at it, and
me too.
But he was good, and I know when we'd always play in a scramble, he would never do it when we're playing against each other. He'd never help me. But when we're in a scramble or something, or a two-man in a tournament, he would help. And I was always amazed at his eyesight when it came to reading greens on the course. If you don't mind, I'm going to share a brief story. And again,
go for it.
Yeah, go for it.
This show speaks to Butch, and because he didn't have to do it. But Pat, there's several of us that at different times were fortunate enough to go watch Butch or go stay a week or something with Butch. So I remember, and I was teaching and coaching, and he was with the Mariners. And, you know, as you recall, man, he really fit in. Obviously, he had grown up through the Mets organization, and, man, he was a big deal within the Mets organization, and he knew everybody, and everybody knew him. And so when he got traded to Seattle, it was a little bit of a, you know, that was a little bit of a tough swallow for him.
Yeah.
And but he was fortunate that he went to a Mariners team that has some really good guys on their team.
Yeah.
When I start talking good guys, I'm talking about, you know, of course, you know, Griffey Jr. and Jay Buhner, Edgar Martinez.
Yeah.
Those types of guys were veterans, and they were kind of good guys. When I say good guys, I mean just down home guys. You know, A-Rod was in his second year, I believe, so he hadn't really established his, hadn't established, you know, the stardom yet as what Junior had. But so Butch, he said, man, what you need to do is fly out here to California. We're playing the Angels in a series, and then we got a day off, and then we're going to play the Dodgers. And then that was the last series before All-Star break. So this was in July, you know, first part of July. Yep. And so I did. And I went out there, and Dan Lozano, who was Butch's agent, he was with us. And Danny always treated us good. Anybody that was connected to Butch, and Danny had a big, you know, he had a big portfolio of players, but he always loved Butch, and he always took care of us, you know, that were associated with Butch. So you know, we were out there in L.A. and we stayed in Anaheim of course, for the Angels. Then we transferred hotels after that afternoon game. So we went to downtown Los Angeles to the hotel, and I can't remember the hotel, but we were hanging out. We went to eat dinner, and Junior says, "Hey man, we're going to play golf tomorrow." And Butch had told me to bring my clubs. He said, "Man, but be ready." He said, "We're going to have a good group." So it was cool. Okay. And, you know, for me, I mean, that's here I am. I was the golf coach at Eisenhower High School. So here I am. You know, of course, I'd played with Butch and a couple of those guys before, but I kind of thought something was in the works. So they said, "Hey, man, meet in the lobby, 6:30 a.m. You know, we'll have a limo there, and we're going to take us to the golf course." So here we go. So yeah, I mean, okay. So here, Brad Cooksey is. He comes in with his Eisenhower little carry bag, and everybody else has got their leather bags and stuff like that. I said, "Butch, man, come on, I got to buy a new bag when I get to the course." He said, "No, man, you know how Butch said?" He said, "No, you're fine. It's gonna be good." So we get to the course, and there's 8 of us, and man, the guys, a couple of the guys I just mentioned, we were all going to play golf, and we were playing at Sherwood Hills. And Sherwood Hills is in L.A., and it's where Tiger Woods and David Duval had the first ever, you know, kind of one-on-one match. Oh, okay. So the course was immaculate, and they had shut it down that morning for us, which is crazy. Yeah. So we get up there, and we get out of the car, get out of the limo, and of course it was a big deal for me. I mean, when you're with those guys and you're out there going to that type of course. I mean, we're not playing, you know, the Longtime Country Club or Muni or somewhere here in Oklahoma. We're playing Sherwood Hills, which was a big deal. And man, another limo pulls up, and we're like, "Man, what's going on with this?" And sure, so I'm sitting there watching, and man, out of the limo is Will Smith, the Fresh Prince.
Wow.
Yeah. So he was in town doing for the premiere of the show Wild Wild West. Mm-hmm. And Griffey, you know, him and Griffey had a relationship. So Will Smith was there, and so man, it's great because I got to, you know, I still have the cards to this day, and everybody signed them, and the scorecards, and man, just what a great time. But you know, for Butch, you know, and I say this, and I really, really mean it, he didn't have to do that. He could just say, "Man, I got my nerdy buddy in town, and we'll pass." But no, he wanted me to share.
That's awesome.
He wanted me to share in that deal, and he did it for everybody. I mean, there's been numerous people that have gone to watch him play, and you know, Joe, I think again at that funeral told a great story, and what he left out was, you know, after the Mariners, he got traded to the Red Sox, and they won the pennant. You remember that?
Yeah, we did. Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was 99, I believe. Is that right?
In Chicago, is in Chicago is where they did it. And so Joel and his wife were up there watching the game. And Butch, you heard Joel say, he said, man, Butch said, hey, give me 30 minutes, an hour. I need to hang out with my teammates, but I'll meet you in the hotel. I'll meet you in the hotel bar. Well, he did, but what he neglected to tell you was that Jason Veritek, and there was one other that came with him.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, here they are. They just won. They could be partying and having a great time. But instead, Butch wanted to come hang out with his buddy. And, the other two guys wanted to do it too. So, one of them being Veritek, who's, who was a great player for the Red. He was Mr. Red.
Oh, yeah. He's a legend. He's a legend for that organization. Really Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
So, that speaks to Butch. He wanted to share his 1%. If that, going back to what I said, that he wanted to share that. And so, man, he just epitomized what a good big brother does, and a good friend. And so I always admired that about him, because he always took time to take care of us guys and his family. And man, he's one of a kind, man. That's all I can say.
No, he is. And and you read in Facebook last week, or a couple of days after he passed, all the comments from people who said stories very similar to that. He would get him tickets to games. I don't think he knew the word no. I don't think when it came to his friends.
And I know we didn't get into arguments, but he would disagree with me, because whether it be an autograph signing or something like that, I said, "Come on, man, come on, we got to go," or we got to do this or something like that. And he'd go, "No, dog." You know how he talks? "No, dog. I got to do this." So he was kind of my. I was the yang and he was the yin, if that makes any sense. So, but Butch, man, there ain't nobody like him, and he's going to be missed. And
definitely.
We could sit on here till midnight tonight, and we can talk about stories. Going back with Butch. So, it's good. I'm glad to see, and it was good to see Kelly both on your podcast and in town for the funeral and the viewing. It's good to see him. Curtis did a great job. I'm so happy and so proud of him. And then I appreciate you having Coach Harrington on. Coach Harrington kind of brought a little bit of a different, maybe a different viewpoint, being a coach and things of that nature from it. But I know Butch always respected his coaches, man. When you look back on your career and you look back on your playing days, whether it be junior high, high school, college, pro, man, your coaches make a huge difference. I know, and Grant, I'm going to tell you this now, and y'all going to know this name, but I was fortunate in junior high that, our coaches were Bob Richardson.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And Dennis Jackson. Those types of guys. And then when we got to high school, it was Coach Harrington, and it was Coach Abercrombie, it was Coach Reynolds, it was Coach Holler, and it was those types of guys. And man, those guys make such a difference in your shape as who you are, as coming into a young man. And that's what I always appreciate. And Butch appreciated that too. He knew that he had some great coaches at an early age that kind of got him on the right path. And and those coaches I just mentioned were his coaches as well. I think he played for Leo a little bit early on in his year, and Leo is a great man and great coach. So yeah, I mean that's the kind of stuff that Butch really enjoyed. And going into his professional days, I'll never forget. I went down to spring training one time, and they played a spring training game, and they had moved Butch from third to first. And so, he played fine. It was a spring training game, whatever. And so I'm sitting up there in the stands, and I was sitting, of course, where all the family and friends sit, blah, 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 blah. And one of those, it was Todd Hundley. He comes out comes out and says, he says, "Hey man, your boy's going to be a while. You might want to go on back to the hotel." And I'm like, "Man, what's crazy? I'll stay here. I don't know what's going on." So here goes Butch. Of course, Butch, he walks out there to first base, and he's got his first baseman's mitt. And this coach, he kept calling him Butchie. he gave Butchie, here we go, and he was fungoing him up. I mean, ground ball after ground ball. And Butch did great. I mean, there was no, what he was doing, he was just fielding the ground ball and he's putting it in the bucket. That's exactly what he was doing. And every time that coach would go, come on, Butchie, Butchie. And so afterwards, I got halfway pissed off because he kept calling him Butchie. And so afterwards, we get in the car, I said, dang, man, I ain't mad at you having to take all those extra ground balls and staying forever. He said, but what I'm mad about is that damn coach calling you Butchie. I said, who is that? I said, who is that coach? He said, oh, man. He said, that's Frank Howard. Yeah,
goodness. The legend.
Wow.
You didn't even know it.
Hondo.
Yeah, Hondo. He kept calling him Butchie, and he hit him a million ground balls that day. So
remind me, Brad. Isn't Frank Howard a big guy?
Yeah, he's tall,
gigantic,
very, very tall.
That's probably why you don't correct him. Like, hey, don't call him that. Like, yes, Mr. Howard. Yes, sir.
Say, come on, here we go, Butchie. Here we go. So, yeah, that was great. That was one of the final moments. And then one more thing, and we'll move on to the next subject, or whatever. But I want to tell this about Butch.
No, go ahead.
This is another cool thing that I always enjoy, and this may be the most enjoyable thing that I've done with him, is we were playing, or it was in spring training. It may have been that same trip. They went to Vero Beach to play the Dodgers. Okay, and at that time, y'all remember a dude named Hideo Nomo?
Yeah.
Okay, and Nomo Mania.
Yeah.
It was a big deal, and so they're playing there at Vero Beach, and Butch hits one out on him. He crushes one and hits a home run, and it was cool and everything. So obviously they get back on the bus, and I get in the car, and we head back to Port St. Lucie where we were at, and we went to dinner and did that, and we got back to the room, and of course the first thing we do is turn on the TV and turn it to Sports Center, and of course the highlights are on, and they come to that highlight, and they show Butch taking Nomo out, and the Mets win. They won that game. But man, that was such a cool deal to see you're with the dude that you're watching on Sports Center.
That's pretty sweet.
And Butch, I'm like, dang, Butch, that's you, man.
Look at you. Yeah, look at you.
Yeah. He's probably like, whatever.
He goes, oh, man. That ain't nothing. You know how he is.
Yeah.
But then, several times on down the road, same thing. When he was with the Mets or the Mariners, we'd be with him. He'd do something and make Sports Center or something, and we'd be watching it, whether it was in the room or at the bar or whatever. And man, you're with the dude that you're seeing on TV right now.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that was always such a big thrill. That was cool.
Definitely. God, that's awesome, man.
And I can tell, Brad, like those are like for you, like really awesome memories, because you're almost in awe, and he's over there just shrugging it off like it's no big deal. You know what I mean? Like that is a big
Butch,
deal.
Man.
Yeah,
that's a huge deal. I mean, that was Butch, and he was larger than life, and his teammates treated him like he was larger than life. I mean, we can go down the roll call of the guys he played with, throughout his time, and the amount of respect they had for him. And I think the reason why is because he was this big dude, Big Butch, like we talked about. But he was just he was a guy. I mean, he was just
Butch,
a guy.
Yeah.
He didn't wear the flashy shoes or wear the flashy gaudy jewelry or anything like that, man. He was just a Butch Huskey from Lawton, Oklahoma, that wanted to play baseball, play a little golf, do a little fishing, do a little hunting, and hang out with his buddies. And I think I think people respected that out of him.
That's well said.
When his career ended, just go back to Lawton and just hang out and hang out with friends and,
that's
like you said, go fishing and go golfing.
That's right.
Yep. Wow.
His gift to the world was his time. You know what I mean? Like that seems to be a recurring theme. Is he was willing to give his time, and he wanted to give his time. And that's in all aspects of life. Yeah, that's really cool.
In the last couple of years, he really got into coaching, and he really enjoyed that, helping kids. And again, I think that goes back to what I just talked about earlier. The type of coaches he grew up with, I think reflected back on what his thoughts and how he wanted to get back to the game and do to those kids what was done to him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think you and Harrington used to sit in the basketball office and worked on Butch impressions, because he said he sounded like Butch he did his Butch voice last week.
It was pretty good.
It was good. But yeah, y'all are pretty close. I think you should sit in your downtime.
If I could tell you, if I can give you a dime for every time he said, "Dog, we can't," man, we can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all be living in Highland Park right now. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, anytime he would send me, "What's going on?" That was his greeting. That was always his greeting. "What's going on?"
What's up, dog?
Yeah,
what's up, dog?
Exactly. Well, Brad, let's get into. I'm gonna get your final thoughts on Butch at the very end, but let's get into that freaking legendary playing career at Eisenhower. And
Let's
Cameron.
go.
Yeah. Man, I tell you what, Pat, and I appreciate you bringing this up. I tell my boys growing up that, man, we grew up at a time, and Grant, you're a little bit younger than I was, but you still able to catch that wave. I graduated in '92, and man, all through really elementary school and junior high and high school, the athletes that I played with and played against had a huge impact on how everything turned out, as far as playing. Man, we had to compete.
Yeah.
I mean, my junior year was a year we won the USA Today national championship. So we had that's who I grew up with, was all those guys. And so, man, you just learned how to compete and learn how to win.
Yeah.
And I always say, Grant, you kind of caught the back end of that, or not the back end of the wave, but you were part of the latter end of the wave. Lawton High had it rolling in the 80s.
Yes.
They did.
When you start talking about, you had Kelly, you had Charles
sure.
Thompson, James Bird, Will Shields, Dwell. I mean, you name it. I mean, those guys were there. And then Butch's senior year, and, to this day, and it's, either Joe or Curtis said this too, one of his biggest I don't say regrets, but one of his biggest shortcomings may have been was not winning that state championship game in '89.
Yeah.
But that's when the tide shifted, and you saw it shift to Eisenhower. Mm-hmm. And of course, it speaks for itself. And then, Lawton High still had great athletes. Mike Minner, those types of guys.
Dudes, yeah, just dudes.
They were good.
That's right.
Up and down.
That's who I grew up with, and that's who what molded me into being a competitor, knowing that you had to bring it. And so, my sophomore junior years, I think you probably heard it from Coach Harrington. Abercrombie was our head coach, and Bruce was our was the assistant, the JV, assistant JV. And I was fortunate enough my sophomore year. I remember coming out from football after football, and in my sophomore year, we got beat out by Midwest City, I think in the quarterfinals up at Midwest City, and went directly to basketball. And that was, again, so I was playing a little JV, but then right before Christmas we had to go to Ardmore, and they stuck me in a varsity game, and playing at Ardmore down there was no easy task. And
they had some dudes too.
Tigers Den, they had some dudes.
Tigers Den.
And I remember, I hadn't practiced with but they stuck me in there and they said, "Okay, we're gonna run flex." Y'all know flex, And I had no clue what flex was.
Back screen and a pin down. It was a pattern offense. Yeah.
And I remember looking over at the bench going, "Man, what's flex?" And so, but it worked out. We made a couple of shots, and man, it was on then. So, but then my senior year is when Bruce got the head job, and we were good my junior year, and we were good our sophomore year too. But we got beat out by John Marshall my sophomore year. But then my junior year we were really good because that was Chris Pollard. He was a senior on that team. Y'all remember those? You remember that group?
Yeah.
And man, we had a really good year. We had a little incident, an unfortunate incident, at the end of the year in our last regular season game at PC North that hurt us, and we had a couple of suspensions, and so we kind of limped into the playoffs and didn't have as much success. And that was Abercrombie's last year. And then Bruce got our senior year, and man, we just went out and it just kind of all gelled for us, and we were really good, and we were very fortunate. And that was back in the day that, and Bruce didn't tell you this, But in today's game, if you get on a fast break, it's better to pull up and shoot a three than it is to go make a layup. Well, you know me. As soon as it crossed half court, there wasn't a shot I didn't like.
That's correct.
And so there were several times.
I remember that.
There were several times when Bruce would pull me out because I'd jack a three.
Yeah, like that's still not good enough. Yeah,
not good enough. Take it to the basket.
We're gonna come out. We're gonna run. We're gonna run passing game. We're gonna do that. And but anyways, that's all part of the journey. And then in baseball, Grant, I think you knew, man. We had some players, man, in baseball. We had some guys that could go. In my junior year, we made it to the state tournament, and we got beat out by Enid, who had Brandon Baird, who ended up pitching at Wichita State.
Yep.
But man, we just had some good players. We had some good arms. And when you start talking about like Brett Reed and Kenny Davis I think he was a sophomore on that team. Adam McCullough, who played at Wichita State. I mean, we had some really good players. And as I look back on that career at Eisenhower, the wins, we won a lot more than we lost in every sport. But man, it was just the journey, and you look back on it, it's the guys that you grew up with. And I hadn't talked to Adam McCullough in years, and man, when Butch passed away, he sent me a message. But that kind of just shows you, that kind of how all that works. And but man, I'm an Eisenhower Eagle, true and true, man, and I'm proud of it. And
me too.
I think you guys can kind of sing that same song with me.
Yeah. Most definitely.
There's lots to be proud of, man. Like you experienced lots of success in a lot of ways, but I just remember like when you were in your, I think junior, senior year, I was coming up through junior high. It was a big deal to go to an Eisenhower basketball game.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Like, not only that, I'd go to Cameron games with Kirb and his family, but kind of overlooked here. Remember Lawton High Eisenhower wrestling duels?
Oh yeah,
man, like that was high intensity right there.
Yeah.
I was in.
High. Yeah, Coach Zuspan at Lawton High, and Coach, I think Steve Cawthorn was part of that coaching staff. Then you had Coach V here at Eisenhower, and man, you had Norman Williams and Matt Parker and all those guys, and of course, Quincy Wilson, all them.
Dwight Henson.
The Henson,
Dwight Henson,
the Henson brothers.
And then they had the Lorns. They had the Lorns, and they were loaded.
Floyd and Lloyd, yeah.
Yep,
man,
Edwin.
And we're leaving out MacArthur, because MacArthur had a bunch of good athletes too. But that speaks to what I was saying earlier. Just the type of teams and athletes that were around at that time. No matter whether we're talking about football, we're talking about wrestling, basketball, man, it was just there, and that was just such a fun time to grow up. I mean, it really was. It was competitive and fun.
But you had to earn it. You had to earn it, right?
Yes.
And that's I think that you earned it. So that's awesome.
A lot of great athletes in Lawton, man. Back the 80s and 90s, 2000s.
And Butch was one of the elite.
Yes.
Yeah.
Going back to
definitely.
Butch. I mean, you can count them on one hand, when you start talking about some of those guys, and Butch is right there on that one hand with Will Shields and Stacey King and some of the guys that made it, man. It's Kelly, they made it, and those guys are man, they're legends. They're Lawton legends.
Who was the fifth one that Joey Goodman said last week?
I'm about to say Joey Goodman. That was his Mount Rushmore. It was the baseball player who went to Japan.
Oh, Randy Bass.
Randy Bass. Yeah, Randy Bass.
Yeah.
I mean, man, I always tell people, man, there's been more college and pro athletes coming out of Lawton over the last 40 years than anywhere.
For sure.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Well, okay, I need to know one thing. What was it like coaching with the legendary Bruce Harrington?
Hey, it was never a dull moment, right? Man, Coach and I, he was my coach. As I mentioned, he got the head job. He was the junior varsity coach. Then he got the head job my senior year. And so I always knew him, and he always followed, and supported, the cause. And then after I got through playing at Cameron, I wanted to get into teaching and coaching. I knew that's what I wanted to do. And, me and Bruce were still, me and Coach Harrington were still, we were still buddies, if you want to call it. I hate to say buddies, but because he was my coach. But he just said, hey, if you want to. I remember him telling me this, and this is honest God truth. Bill Self was Coach Harrington and Bill Self are good friends, and Bill Self, I think he was at Tulsa at the time. He may have been at ORU, but he said, hey, listen, because Coach has had several guys. One of them being a good friend named Phil Johnson. He was Lute Olson's assistant out of Arizona forever. He's assistant coach for him. And, I was debating on kind of what path I wanted to go in, as I started on my journey. He said, hey, listen, man, we can get you can go be a graduate assistant. We can get you at ORU with Coach Self. Or, if you want to, stay here, be a high school. He goes, man, we'll get you hired here and and get you on going here. But he said, at the college level, yeah, man, that's all good, but you're going to be starting off and you're going to have to be doing the grunge work. You'll be a graduate assistant and you're going to have to do the dirty work and you're going to have to put in some time and you're just going to have to work your way up and it's going to take several years. Whereas here, you're not going to be, you might not make as much money, you might not have the when I say fame, the notoriety, working with a big program. He said, but, you'll be able to have your golf game and, you'll have time off during the summer. And I said, yeah, man, that's what I want to do. I think I want to do that. And so he was very instrumental in Mr. Christian, our principal, in hiring me there at Eisenhower. And, man, I taught math. I always tell people, get on. So Kirby, when you were teaching, what'd you teach? History. All the coaches taught it. History,
PE and health.
PE or driver's ed. That was those three. But I always tell them, I say, man, I wasn't your ordinary coach. I taught math. As a matter of fact, I taught Jennifer in class.
I knew that. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was good seeing Jennifer the other day too.
Yeah.
But they got me hooked up, and Coach Harrington, man, obviously he comes, with his dad and Kevin, his brother. They come from a basketball family, and they eat and sleep basketball. But more than that, Coach Harrington is he's one of the best guys around. Yeah. He never has a bad day. He cares about people, cares about kids, and that kind of rubbed off, on me to see him work every day and to see, how much fun and Coach Harrington's funny. And he's
really funny.
He's hilarious.
So is Kevin, and to see that, and over time, from that start back in 1998 is when I first started. Our friendship has grown till now. We're best buds, and he lives a block from us up here in Blanchard.
Yeah, what you saying the other night?
And so, Coach Harrington's a good guy, and man, it was just fun working with him. We had some fun times. I know I was there from 98 to 2009. I think we had 6 state tournament appearances. We played Midwest City in the finals in 07 and got beat.
I was up for that one. That was tough.
Got beat, yeah. But then, back in 15, they won it in 15, and I was so happy for him to be able to get that and add that to his Hall of Fame career.
Yeah, that was on my 50th, the day of my 50th. So they threw me a surprise party that day.
Oh, really?
And that's why I remember the year it was 2015, and everybody was at my house. Me and Melissa had taken me we'd gone down there on Waco or whatever, and everybody was at my house that day, and they were actually watching it or listening to it one, and they were filling us in. We won, so I was happy for Bruce that he got that one.
Man, I referee now. Me and my brother referee high school basketball, and we were refereeing in the state tournament. Now this was back when 5A and 6A would play at the Mabee Center in Tulsa, but then 4A and below would they play at the Big House up here in the city. And I remember we got our assignments that day, and I had let's call it the 12 o'clock game. And man, I was so happy because I was able to referee a state final game, at noon, and then be able to jump in the car and 2 hours later get up there and be able to rep and watch and be a part of the, the state championship game that when we beat Carl Albert, to win that state championship. I was happy that I was been able to do that, and man, one of my favorite pictures. I mean, this is how. I mean, you guys. I don't have to tell you guys. Y'all know, and people who know me know. But man, in our hallway here, there's a picture when I was coaching my oldest son Carson. He has a jersey. You know, we had a jersey made for him, and of course, it had number 33. It's got to have 33 on it.
Yeah, it's got to.
Oh yeah, of course.
And it's got Cooksey. It had Cooksey on the back, but we were there, and me and Bruce were standing there, and Carson was standing next to us, but his back was turned, and somebody took a picture of us. That's one of my longtime favorite pictures right there, and that just shows
awesome.
You my feelings for Eisenhower.
Yeah, and that's how we all are. I mean, man, I hate how the football program's been, but I'm hoping Mo can get it turned in the right direction. I think you will, man. I think that was a good move. It ain't gonna
come from a lack of effort,
No, not at all.
What we just talked about, and I don't want to dive too much into it, but I mentioned back in the '90s when we were growing up about how competitive it was and how many athletes, how many great athletes there were, and it's just not that way anymore.
No,
and we got to get that. We got to find. I don't know, but with the way things are, now with the transfer and this, and it's a different time.
Yeah,
I have opinions, but I'm keeping them to myself.
Yeah,
that's good, Kirb. I'm glad you showed some restraint there, because I think I read your mind.
Man,
everybody knows. Eisenhower people know.
Yeah,
Eisenhower people know.
Yeah, I hope Mo gets it.
I do too.
Get it turned around, and yeah, I mean, because man, you guys know. I mean, football is one of those sports. It's in the fall, so everybody's pumped up to be back at school. And if your football team's good, it just makes it that much better. It kind of sets the tone for the year.
Sets the tone
for
it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so,
definitely.
For Eisenhower, man, I hope we can get back on that winning ways.
I do too. Well, Brad, we've kept you way longer than I intended to keep you.
I'm glad we did, though, Kirb.
Yeah, I am too. I'm not complaining.
I've been talking a lot, Kirb.
No, that's good. I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm not complaining about it at all. I'm glad.
No.
Hey, just some final thoughts on Butch. Some closeout words on Butch.
Yeah, man. This.
Sorry, man.
I mean, we lost a good guy, man. Mm-hmm. We lost a good friend.
We did.
We lost a good ambassador for the good of everything.
Yes.
If that makes any sense.
Very well said.
Butch was obviously an elite talent, and I'm not just talking to baseball. He was a great football player, and in basketball, he could have been as good as he wanted to be if he would have put in more time, to be a basketball player. But obviously, baseball was coming up, and so, but he was a great athlete. But man, he embodied what a good, solid guy is all about, and he just happened to be a good baseball player too.
Right, exactly.
He cares about people. He cared about people's families, and I'm going to speak directly to mine. He cared about my boys just like they were his, and so you always appreciate that.
Yes.
Pat, with Melissa and her family, and the connection there with my dad and my family, man, we appreciate. I mean, we appreciate good people, and Butch was one of them. Man, he could sit down at the dinner table at any time with anybody, and fit in, talk what you need to talk, and that shows the character of a guy that can do that. He was the elite of the elite, but he never forgot where he was from. He always wanted to take care of his people and make sure that they were, that they were taken care of, and that he could leave his mark, on them. And so for that, I'm as we grew older in life and we started having families, and our priorities shifted. And back when we were single, and Butch was in the major leagues, and I was, teaching and coaching, and we were having a good time, and it was all fun and games, and we did, we had a lot of fun together. But then as we transitioned into our, adulthood with our families and things of that nature, those times were equally as good as as the other times, because we could talk about each other's kids and Karen and Christy and see how things are going and bounce things off of each other. And then when Butch was working at Goodyear, he'd call me and say, "Man, I need to talk to your dad." I'll never forget it, because I need some advice. I need to talk to your dad. So of course, he'd get on the phone with Dad, and they get it all worked out. And there were several times that happened. But man, this has been a tough week and a half, 2 weeks here for us, for everybody.
Oh yeah.
And it's been a tough pill to swallow. Butch Huskey was a good dude. He come from a good family. He married into a good family. He's got great kids.
Thank you.
And we got to make sure that Christy and those girls are taken care of, which I know we are. But man, this hurts, man, and he's going to leave a big void, not only for us as friends of his, but for all of Lawton, for all of Oklahoma, because he still is highly regarded, in our territory down here.
For sure. You're exactly right, man. That's very well said. Bergie, you got any final thoughts for
No,
Brad?
I mean, first of all, Coach, and I call you Coach. Sorry about that, Brad. Hey, it's great to see you again, buddy, and I'm proud of you. I'm proud that you're an Eisenhower Eagle, and I'm proud of the father you've become and the husband. So continued success, and I really appreciate you jumping on and kind of being one of our ambassadors for Butch. For those who may not know him, you has just, just a good an idea of the man he was and the man he is as anybody. So thank you for sharing that and just bringing some more light to a life that was well lived.
Yeah, man.
Yes,
hey, and I appreciate you
definitely.
guys. Kirb, man, it's good to see you, man. It's good to see you last
too,
week.
Man. Yeah,
it's been a while. Good to see Melissa and your daughter. And Berg, man, I hadn't seen you in forever, so it's good to see you, and you're still wearing that black and orange, I see. That's the way to keep it real, though.
I got to.
Hey,
I should have worn the crimson and cream tonight, I guess.
No, Kirb, me and you share the Texas Ranger love too, baby.
That's true. That's
on.
True.
Man, they're frustrating though. God,
they are. They're up and down.
Yeah.
So, but hey, you guys, man, as you guys get this thing growing and getting it going, man, I like to look back on things and kind of get together, man. If y'all's voice carries loud enough, man, let's get a reunion going. Let's get an Eisenhower reunion going.
Oh, yeah.
Wednesday night somewhere. Wednesday night.
Wednesday nighter.
Yes.
That's right.
I do miss. You were talking about how it evolved and y'all having families and stuff, but man, them Wednesday nighters were fun, man.
Those were fun.
Harrington could cook some crab legs, man.
Well, what was amazing, Pat, is we were able to get up the next morning on Thursday morning and go teach class at 7:50.
Go to work. Yeah,
that's
right.
Stuff.
Good rebounding right there. Can't do that anymore.
We better stop right there on that.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, man.
That's right.
Brad, thanks a lot, man, for joining us. And I told Bruce last week, we go to Norman, for football games we're going to give y'all a call when we go up. Maybe go up on a Friday or something before and try to see y'all when we head up that way. It's crazy not to. Y'all are right down the road, so
we're right down the road. It's 13 minutes from our house to the stadium.
Man,
so, that's good to know.
Stuff.
Man, I'm envious of that, man. I wish I was that close.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, I appreciate you guys. I really do, and I appreciate you inviting me on to the show. It's been a pleasure. Man, Butch rocks. Man, we're going to miss him.
He does. He does.
But, the legend's going to live, so it'll be all right.
Absolutely. All right, Brad, we'll talk to you soon, man. Thanks again.
Okay. Y'all be careful.
Take care, Brad.
Thanks again, guys. Bye-bye.
Hey, I didn't kick you out.
Hey, man, we're two in a row now. Two
in a row, man. Yeah, that thing last week, that was just weird. I'm switching people out. So anyway, man, that was good. He was awesome. That was really good.
Yeah, some good insight there.
I'm glad we had him on. Well, and I was talking to Harrington last week it was a visitation, and he was standing there and Brad, and I'm fixing to tell on his wife here. I said, I just didn't think you'd be able to do it. And he said, I probably could have. Well, Karen, she said, no, I don't think you could have. That would have been too soon. But so no, it was good. Thanks to him for jumping on here.
That was awesome. Thank you, Brad.
All those guys last week and everybody. It was awesome. We got a lot of compliments on it too. The last weekend in Lawton.
Well, good. It's cathartic for a lot of people, not just the people that were with us and us, but it's also just hopefully for the community of Lawton.
Definitely.
I hope so.
Well, Brad shifting gears here. Brad mentioned John Tinker, so I'm fixing to Tinker. I know you said you were going to watch tonight, so I'm fixing to call you out.
There you go.
When I advertise our merchandise that I'm fixing to advertise. Heartland Printing out of Wagner, Oklahoma, the home of Goose Hutchins.
Yes, let's go Goose.
And heartlandprintco.com/shop/ and I'll put that on the screen when I edit this. But they have our merchandise, T-shirts, hoodies, caps, polos. By all means, and we've kind of gotten away from moving. We've had a lot going on the last couple of weeks, so we didn't talk about it at all last week. But I put this out there, Bergie, over last weekend, I think it was, or first part of this week. Tinker sends me a message on that. You might have seen it. Said, hey, if you get a bright orange one, OSU,
let's go.
I'll buy 2. And I said, okay. So I found the link, texted it to him. I said, okay, here you go. So I don't know if he's purchased 2 or not. I haven't heard yet. So Tink,
maybe there's
pressure's on.
Maybe there's a selfie. Maybe there's a selfie coming with that logo.
Maybe there is.
Yeah, let's go. Hey, the weather's going to turn at some point. We're all going to need a hoodie. So.
Oh, I will get a hoodie.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. But all right, moving on. And people may not remember, so I resent it out 2 weeks ago because we had a special episode last week. The fan question of the week 2 weeks ago was, are preseason polls fair? And we did get some responses. We had 3 last week, and we actually got 1 today.
Oh,
that
nice.
we put on hold. So we appreciate y'all's patience on getting to this.
Yep.
And Grant, I should have sent this to you today, but first one is from guess who?
Mike Webb.
Mike Webb.
Let's go, Mike.
He says, I think it's just a gauge to start with. I start looking after 3 games to get a feel for how teams are doing.
That's the BCS model, right? Let's wait. Week 5 or whatever, and that's why they went to that, right? Because Mike's on it. He's like, man, I
get
it. And sometimes when you see the number, I mean, you tell me, Coach Kirb, when you see the number, the ranking in front of whoever it is, does that make you want to watch it more? 2 unranked teams, is it as exciting as number 20 going against number 16? No,
it's not.
Okay.
No, I mean, honestly, it's not, and it gives us some, and that's what in some of these lives that I've done. Why do we even do? Because for us to sit here on a live and talk about,
right? And that's what I'm saying. That maybe
here.
Its design was to gauge interest and get ratings up. And hey, this is one of the top 20 teams in the country. Well, our publication or our group believes that, but. Yeah. I tend to believe it does. Not you know what I mean? Like I'm going to watch a ranked team because hey, sometime down the road, my team may see them in a bowl game, or hey, this team could be climbing, and so maybe that's why they do that. I get it, but you're right. It's a sports talk thing, and so I think it just gives people something to talk about.
And I shouldn't. I take a little bit of that back. If it's early in the year, it's football. I'm just so ready to watch football.
Yeah.
Whether, like tomorrow night, there's FCS games on tomorrow night. You know that?
Absolutely, I saw that.
Yeah, I'm going to be watching those games tomorrow night. Okay, Tom Hudson, second week in a row that he's chimed in.
Thank you, Tom.
He says they're fair based on the previous season and what players are returning. I don't take them serious until game 5. So I see that too. I mean. You're basing it on reputation and
coaching staff, returnees.
Yeah, how you hear they looked in the spring, how you look they did in the portal, but you don't. That's the thing, you don't know. Okay, Jill Kirby. Honestly, I do not pay attention to the preseason polls. I wait until the season gets underway to follow the polls. And everybody's pretty much saying the same thing. Robin Hardy, Rockins, Coach Styles was there last week, so he.
There we go.
Yep. She says, no, not really fair. I mean, aren't they just going by how many they think the team will do? That would think is in quotes. So, yeah, pretty much the same answer for everybody. I mean, I'm not going to say they're, in my opinion, my take on, Doug wouldn't get mine. It's not that I don't think they're fair. I think they're meaningless. I don't, at least the preseason poll. Maybe, like Mike said, maybe week 3.
Yeah.
Maybe start doing one. Somebody said October. I don't know about waiting until October because that's an entire month before you start putting them out there.
Right.
So maybe mid-September. I don't know, but there's something for us to talk about and argue about. And like, oh, we're ranked number 3 in the nation. Okay, good. You still have 12 games to go play.
Right.
So, and that's probably that's why, because they don't play as many games.
Right. Anyway. And you're right. I mean, when you get to 11 regular season games, sometimes 12 now, it's like, hey, you don't have much time to earn your respect or earn your rankings. But I'll be honest with you, Coach Kirb, I disagree.
Oh,
I disagree.
Okay.
And I'm going to bring some examples. And this is going to sound a little weird because the examples I have are all like Big 12 schools, which it goes with the territory, right? Big 12 isn't the Big 10. It's not the SEC. But you talk about teams that have actually been hurt by preseason rankings. Are you ready for some?
Yes.
Okay. TCU 2014. Okay. Unranked preseason, go 12-1. They end up third in the AP poll. But guess what happens on the very last day that the 14 BCS was chosen?
Oh, well, I know. That's the year Ohio State absolutely destroyed Iowa. And they bumped,
I believe that's right.
That's the year that Ohio State got moved up.
But TCU was left out.
Yes.
They were left out. I find it hard to believe that if they were ranked preseason top 15, that they don't get left out. But I feel like the fact that they were unranked going into the season and they rolled people, they got screwed. They got screwed, like legitimately. And I'm not a TCU guy, but there's an example. No. 2017, you remember UCF? Remember Central Florida went undefeated?
Yeah.
Remember they still claim that national championship?
They have a banner,
right?
They have a banner.
They have a banner. They finished 12th in the BCS. I don't know.
Wow.
Like, I get their schedule was probably not the thing, but it hurt them. Now, I get they're not the SEC. They're not, in that time, the Big 12 was still strong, and Big 10, Pac-12. But hard to argue that didn't hurt them. 2019 Baylor, they went from unranked preseason 11-1. Okay, they were really good. Remember they lost to OU.
They were good. They lost to OU in the Big 12 championship.
Yep, and they lost to Georgia in the Peach Bowl. But those were the first two losses, and let's just be honest here: OU and Georgia, not bad, right? So didn't get that opportunity. And the most recent ones, like Arizona State, was unranked. They were. Remember that the Cam Scadaboo a couple years ago?
Oh yeah, Man, I like that dude.
Right? He's a gamer, but
I like that dude.
Preseason unranked, picked to finish 16th in the 16-team Big 12, and they lose 39-31 to Texas. Do you remember that in double overtime?
Yeah,
So the first two I gave, I feel like, man, that hurt. That hurt them. Now that we have an expanded BCS and expanded playoff, probably less likely for that to happen. But it's happened before, and I'm a homer, right? But so 2011 OSU had a great season, maybe the greatest season of all time. Still, I think the best team in the country that year. They get left out of a 2-team BCS, and I think that's why they went to a 4-team. But their preseason ranking didn't have much to do with that, I don't think. But hard to argue that TCU in 2014. 2019 Baylor, and then UCF finished undefeated.
Right.
They never got a chance to compete for it all. So I will say it hurt. I do agree with you guys though that it is kind of meaningless. But you ask those programs and those followers and the alumni from those teams, especially from those years, and those players, you may get a different answer. So that's my shot on that.
Okay. Well, and also that's the first example you gave of TCU. Baylor also was in the running for that Final Four that year too. And
absolutely.
Both of them Big 12 got shut out.
Yes, they got shut out. And was that Art Briles? Was Art Briles at Baylor?
That was Art Briles.
Like putting points on the board? Both of them.
That was Art Briles, yeah.
Yeah. I think there was like a 61-58 game between TCU and Baylor that year. I think. I could be wrong.
Yeah, that you may be right. Those teams, they were loaded offensively. Man. Somebody asked me today, you'll appreciate this on a live. People were just throwing me questions right and left today.
Yeah.
A team that should have gotten into either the CFP or the BCS, 14 BCS, or no, the 2-team BCS. First team I said was Oklahoma State 2011. So I figured you'd be proud of that.
I am proud of that because I will stand by that, and I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I agree.
That Thursday night when they lost in Ames on a field goal that I still think went in. I mean, the camera angle. Go look at the camera angle. The camera was off to the side, and it looked like it went right over the goalpost. That camera was like underneath the goalpost. I think it's in, But that was the same night that had the plane crash where the women's basketball coaches died. That was the only loss of the year, and that was in double overtime, and they didn't get a chance. They didn't get a chance to put it on the line, and I'm with you. They didn't get a chance, and that hurts because OSU doesn't get chances, so that was their chance.
Another one I said was, I can't remember what it was. Well, I said Texas and Notre Dame last year. I mean, I still think both those teams got in. And for me to say that about Texas,
That says a lot because you don't say anything. But I think that's part of the fuel for Notre Dame this year. That's why I got them in my top 2 probably in my little preseason rankings, which obviously doesn't matter. But I think Notre Dame got the shaft last year. I do.
I do too. I think they got it more than Texas, to be honest, but that's just probably me
disliking
Texas. But anyway, okay. Anything else on that? We ready to move on to the next
No,
week?
what's next week's question?
Next week, this is a very hot topic with me. Should players be allowed to opt out of bowl games? That is next week's question. And I so want to go on a rant right now, but I'm going to wait till next week.
Yeah, we're going to let that marinate a little bit.
Yeah. So should players have the option? They have the option right now of opting out if they don't want it, if their team's not playing for, well, just in general, their team could be playing for a championship and they could opt out.
Right.
Obviously, most of them, 99% of them won't, but should that be allowed? Should they be allowed to opt out? That's
okay.
I'm not going to say anything else about it. I'm just
let's leave that right where it lies.
Yeah.
And I got a feeling I'm going to probably disagree with you again on this next week, but let's table that. Yep.
Yeah. Let me be quiet.
Yep.
Okay. But yeah, drop your answers in the chat. I'll post it. It'll be Friday when it'll get posted. The newsletter also is going to go out in the morning because I have to add our picks. I have to add our picks in tonight. Okay. You probably know more about this than I do. Our next topic, which is kind of it's not really our hot take. We're just kind of talking about something that happened. The Oklahoma Little League controversy.
Yeah, first of all, shame on you, Tulsa Little League, whoever you are, whoever made these decisions, because it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough.
You said whoever
you're embarrassing. That's my home state, man. Like that's.
Yeah, I know. It's terrible.
You know what I mean? Like we need to stay out of the news for things like that. I mean, education sucks already, and that's. I mean, that's a whole different story. But so we first of all, it starts with our softball Little League team. They get disqualified, and I really didn't do much digging on that, but you got to assume, because obviously Tulsa's a big town, right? So when I see what towns are playing in the Little League World Series, a lot of them aren't like a large metropolitan area. So that's my first like red flag is like, man, did they just do like Owasso and Union do and just recruit from the whole metroplex of Tulsa? Probably.
Well, it seems like reading this.
So, but then I was like, oh, I'm gonna dig in this baseball thing because I was literally sitting there watching. It was actually the regional. They were playing in Waco.
Right.
And I was like, oh, Team Oklahoma. Like, I'm a baseball guy. I'm an Oklahoma guy. I'm going to watch this. And then I heard, I wasn't really paying attention. Then I heard, and that's why, well, honestly, I got this shirt right here. This is my team shirt from 1998, OSU baseball. Well, this shirt wasn't mine. Number 24 was a guy by the name of
24.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how I ended up with it. I don't know where my shirt is. I want it back. Hey, Trevor Liu, by the way. Trevor Liu, this is his shirt, by the way. One of my favorite teammates of all time. Great guy. Well, guess what? I'm watching this game, and I hear so-and-so Lou. And I look up, and his last name is spelled L-E-U, just like Trevor. I was like, and I remember Trevor because A, he was a teammate of mine, but B, he was coaching at Bixby baseball. When my cousin Trevin played baseball at Bixby, they came down to Dallas, and I went over and watched him. And there's Trevor Liu. I was like, oh, there's my guy. And so we hung out for a little bit and just caught up. But anyway, Trevor Liu's son's playing for that team. So I got more interested because then I heard that Trevor is coaching on that team.
Oh,
so now I'm invested, right? I'm like, cool. Oh, there's my guy, right? And so anyway, it was their last game where they actually won. They were good, and they won. They were 2-0, and all of a sudden, bam, news hit. What happened? They are DQ'd. Like, what's going on here? So it did first start with, well, let me tell you about this. There is a challenger program, and this is where some people go to hell for this, and I'm sorry, but I'm just going to say it. Some people go to hell for stuff like this. There's a challenger program in the Tulsa Little League, whatever world. And that challenger league is for special needs kids. Okay.
Okay.
And it's a 7 U's, like it's 7-year-old and under. To qualify to play in this challenger league, you have to be 7 years or younger. Okay.
Okay.
So a bylaw is in that league, if you have a sibling that plays on that challenger league team or in that challenger league, you actually can qualify to play for Tulsa or whatever this, Little League division is.
Okay.
And so this is where this goes is one of the kids that played on that Tulsa team, they claimed that his brother was in that Challenger League. First problem with that is his brother was 10. Second problem with that is that the league didn't actually function that year. But to get this kid eligible to play for the Tulsa Little League, they claim parents, whoever, claim that his little sibling, his little brother, was in the Challenger League. how low is that? Like, how wrong is that? And then, of course,
That's
the parents.
really wrong. That is.
Yeah, it's wrong. You know what I mean? And the parents, I think, had a little cover-up going on with the coaches or somebody. So I'll be honest with you. I'm a homer. I'm a baseball guy. I'm an Oklahoma guy.
Yeah.
Good for them to get disqualified. Good for them to that's you guys are sorry people.
Yes.
They're just sorry people. And I need to get that out of my system because
it's fine.
I believe in good humans and I believe in doing things right, but you are a sorry individual if you're having to do something like that just to get your kid to play for a team that's already elite.
That's terrible.
I'm going to go ahead and rest my case right there.
BS. That's BS.
Right, and I'm not making that up. This is just me digging through and trying to do some research there.
No, it's right here.
Yeah, okay.
It's right here. Yeah, and I don't have anything to disagree about. I mean, you pretty much told it. The softball deal, it's pretty much the same thing. They didn't provide sufficient documentation proving players met school enrollment at,
right.
residential
inside the boundary,
stuff.
Whatever the boundary was.
Yes.
Right, you were outside of the boundary.
The Challenger thing, that's crap.
Yeah,
I'm sorry I hadn't really dug that deep into it like you did, but I just read kind of what's kind of an overview here. But that's
because then they went to
the
parents
terrible.
went to the courts and I guess got some temporary injunction but then it happened quickly after that. Then they got that reversed. But I'm like, guys, this is it's 2026. Everything gets out, and when this gets out, man, if you were my neighbors, I don't know, I'd be spraying some grass killer all over your yard, or spelling something, or drawing a picture with some what's it called? Kills the grass. I lost my mind. Sorry, I'm getting fired up.
Pesticide, not pesticide.
Yeah, whatever. I'm drawing
diesel
a blank.
or Roundup.
I would take some Roundup and I would draw a picture in your yard, and just because y'all are sorry individuals,
folks. And I know Bergie, he would do it too. Think you wouldn't?
Yeah, I don't have much to lose.
Well,
not in Oklahoma, I don't.
No, I know. Yeah, that's crazy. But anyway, man, yeah. So that's an embarrassment to Tulsa, to the state.
Yep.
Everybody, because it's just a black eye on the entire state.
Yeah,
and
do better.
That's terrible.
Do better.
So this had an extra week to marinate with you then. So
it did.
You're like me when people talk about OU or something on that one. I can tell you're fired up. You're still fired up. I can tell.
I need to calm down. I need to drink water. I need a little water. We're going to go that route.
Well, get you a drink of water because we're about to toe the rubber.
Oh, let's toe the rubber. Let's toe the rubber. Our weekly MLB update, courtesy of Coach Kirb and Bergie. Did you want to throw something out there? Hold on. I'm going to go ahead and start and just give my little basic roundup, but I think you have some stats.
Well, I don't have stats. I have schedule. Yeah, it's stats. All right. Wait do you? The Mariners have a Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm eager. I'm eager to hear about the stats. So I'll make this pretty quick because we really don't have a whole lot that's changed. But I just want to give you the current status of the MLB in relation to what is the postseason going to look like? So I'll start with this, and you're part of this. I'm a part of this. The AL wild card is going to be fun. I'm every day that passes, I'm more appreciative that there's this additional spot right for a playoffs, because I'm telling you, you got like 6 teams that are within 2 games of each other, and there's about 30 games left in the season, and it's to me it's like there's 5 or 6 games that are going to help, or every night that are worth watching because they have playoff implications. So at last check, the Rangers actually had lost that lead for that last wild card spot. They're only half game or a full game behind the Guardians. Is that right?
They're 1 behind the Guardians.
Okay, but they're still in the first place in the division, though. Is that right?
They're half a game back in the division of the Astros.
Okay, so they're in the middle of it, and I do have tickets to Blue Jays at Rangers. I think it's either the last home series in Arlington, or
it is. It's the 12th. Yeah.
And so I will be there, and I'm starting to think like those games may have some meaning.
Oh yeah, I think they will.
Because when I got those tickets, I got those for Father's Day for my awesome wife, Marcy. Thank you. I wasn't thinking like this is going to be meaningful. I'm just like, hey, I'm going to see my team. Go hang out on a Saturday night, but there might be some implications, so get a little fired up about that.
They're 3 back in the wild card, right? 3.5, something like that.
2 Saturdays ago, they were, for a moment, they played in the afternoon. They were tied. They were actually tiebreaker wise. They were the wild card team in the AL, and but they just got off playing the Yankees in 2 different series, the Red Sox and the Rays, which those are the 3 best teams in the East, and they held their own there. I think they went 8-4 or 9-4 against those teams, and so we're feeling pretty good about ourselves. And then we go and we start a homestand last night against the Royals, which I think Robin and Jill and Christy and Jen could probably beat the Royals. And of course they lose 5-3, and they're playing them right now. And so it's like, and it goes back to something you said earlier about the Rangers. Like, they can't beat the A's, they can't beat the Angels.
Yes, the Angels,
but they can beat some good teams. And so they got my hopes up, Kirb, and now I'm pissed off because I'm starting to get disappointed again. But Cleveland's there, the Rangers are there, Baltimore, Minnesota, Toronto, and little scared, Seattle's starting to find something. Remember the catcher?
Yeah.
Remember the catcher? We're he had one of the biggest downfalls from season 1 to season 2 in the history of the game. Because I saw a stat probably about 2 weeks ago. He had 50-something home runs last year.
Yeah.
He has 50 as of a week and a half ago. The big dumper. He had 51 hits on the season.
Wow. That is.
That's a stat. I like that. I saw that stat. He was hitting 1 something. Well, he hit 4 home runs and 4 consecutive at-bats in the last couple of days. So I feel like if he starts doing what he did last year, the Mariners are probably going to – they're going to do some damage here in these last 30 games. So I'm a little scared of that. But anyway, the AL wildcard is worth watching now because, the Yankees are in, the Rays are in. The Red Sox still look solid. The Red Sox, by the way, had the second best in-season turnaround in the history of the sport. They went in a span of 62 games.
It's crazy.
In a span of 62 games, or I'm sorry, 62 days. Correct myself. Calendar days. They went from 14 games under 500 to 14 games above 500.
A 28-game swing.
28-game swing in
62 calendar
days.
That's impressive.
That is impressive.
That's even more impressive.
I don't like the Red Sox. In fact, I don't like any teams from Boston, but you got to give them their flowers, and I'm giving the Red Sox their flowers. The NL seems to be set. You've got some power teams. I know Milwaukee went in and swept the Dodgers. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago. It is a dog-eat-dog conference, but this is what you have, right? You have the Dodgers doing their thing in the West, Atlanta in the East, Milwaukee and Chicago in the Central. And that's going to be your pick of the litter. So there's not much of a race yet. Nobody's thrown their hat in there. Maybe the Padres. They got new ownership, and they seem to be willing to spend some money, and thankfully so. But that's kind of what I have for the Toe the Rubber segment for me. Okay. I want to turn it back over to you now to see what kind of nuggets you dug up.
And you mentioned the Mariners. The AL West sucks. I mean, it just sucks.
Record-wise, they
suck.
To say it. Yeah, the American League sucks.
Yeah, right now the Astros are in first place with what's the record? 66-66 is their record. The Rangers are 66-67, a half a game back.
6-7.
The Mariners are sitting at I don't know what the record is. 64-69, 2.5 games back.
Yeah,
same record as the Jays.
Thank you.
So what I did. I went through this afternoon, and I kind of totaled up looked at their teams, rest of their schedule, the rest of the way, and based on going into the weekend, I'm ruling them out tonight and tomorrow because by the time this airs, Thursday's not going to matter. So starting on Friday, the Rangers record, the teams that they play right now are 21 games over 500.
Oh goodness. Okay.
The Astros, the teams that they play the rest of the way, are 1 game over 500. The Mariners, the teams that they play the rest of the way, are 80 games under 500.
My goodness. So they're just playing the Angels and the A's the rest of the way?
They play the A's twice.
Okay.
They have 6 games left. They have 7 games left against the A's, 7 games left against the Angels, and 3 games left against the Rockies.
My goodness. They're set up.
Those 3 teams are 88 games under 500. Between 3 of them.
Oh.
So the Mariners are the favorites right now to me.
Schedule-wise.
If they do what they should do, I went through and was looking at this. I'm like, goodness gracious. You got the A's at 52-81, the Angels at 52-81, and the Rockies at 51-81.
And that's with their, those teams. As you get towards the end of the season, right, a lot of teams, you can bring up more players.
Yeah.
And they start getting looks at some of their young guys, and they start saying, "Oh, you got a sore knee today? Let's sit out a couple games." So sometimes they're like, even their starters start sitting out some games so they can get looks. So it's hard to argue like they may be weaker teams than what their record even shows towards the end of the season, just so they can get looks for the young guys. So
yeah, they have 10 games against teams with they're a total of 88 games under 500.
God, you weren't even thinking about the Mariners 2 weeks ago.
No, and they're let me set this back up, and they're 2.5 games out of first from behind the Astros now. So
wow,
you got it record wise. You've got they looks like they should be the favorites to win this thing. Rangers are 20. The Rangers games. The Rangers have 3 against the Brewers, 3 against the Rays, 3 against the Red Sox. And they also play the Jays, the D-backs, who are 8 games over 500. And now they do have 3 against the A's. But the Mariners get the A's twice in the last 30 games.
I can't snicker at that. I can't, because like I said, I said this 2 weeks ago, the Jays, their last 30 games, not one team is over 500. So it's set up for the Jays as well, and so we're going to take it. We played the schedule that we were given. In fact, I saw this stat. They had the Jays up till like 2 weeks ago, the record, they played the most teams above 500. They played 72 games, and the next highest was 60. So they played the meat of their schedule. Let's see now if they have enough left in the tank to go ahead and beat the teams they're supposed to. Which right now they're up 3-0 against Kansas City, and I love that they do this. Once a week they do a bullpen game. Like they literally just throw like 7 pitchers out there.
Johnny Holstaff.
They go Johnny Holstaff. Oh, here's a nugget. You ready for a nugget?
Mm-hmm. I'm ready for a nugget.
There are 6 pitchers in the entire Major League Baseball. There's 6 pitchers, relief pitchers, that have pitched at least 50 innings and have a sub-2 ERA. Okay, there's 6 in the entire league, both American National League. 3 of them play for the Jays.
Goodness.
3 of the 6. So their bullpen is a strength. Their starting pitching is a strength. It's just their singles team. They hit singles. They don't drive the ball. And that's been Vlad's issue. Is that he's hitting singles and nubbers and beating out infield hits, and he's not driving the ball. We're not driving in runs. We're playing station to station baseball, and that just sometimes it gets you beat. And so unless our staff is throwing donuts, which like tonight is a great example. We got 3 runs, but we're throwing up a donut. The Royals have 2 hits, and we're going Johnny Holstaff. Like the formula on the mound is great. It's somebody's got to start. Like Seattle has. Somebody's got to start driving in some runs, having some big timely hits. So, anyway, that's me towing the rubber.
Well, last night, the Rangers, kind of speaking of, they had a really weird game against the White Sox. I went to see a friend of mine's in the hospital. I mean, she's doing fine, but I'm on the way there, and it's 0-0, bottom of the first. There's 1 out. The next guy up, the second guy up for the White Sox, he has 2 strikes. The next pitch should have been strike 3. The Rangers did not challenge it. The Rangers announcers saw on the replay they should have challenged it.
Challenge it, right?
Next guy up, the very next pitch, guy rips a double. White Sox end up scoring 6 in the first.
Gosh.
Who's to say? I mean, there's fixed to be 2 outs, nobody on base.
Yeah, you went from a donut.
Yeah. I mean, that would have only been 2 outs, but chances are they're not going to score 6 with nobody on base and 2 outs.
Gotcha.
I would think, and then later on. And I know we need to move on. Later on, when I'm going home then. Rangers, they're down 10-4. They cut it to 10-7. This was the baseball guys working against one of the Ranger announcers. A guy named Phillips, I think it is, plays for the White Sox, has hit home runs in 3 straight games. And he's 2 for 2 tonight, but he hasn't hit a home run. He's hit a home run in 3 straight games. He does not have a home run tonight. Very next pitch hits it out.
You literally said that to yourself?
No, the announcer said it.
Oh, the jinx! The announcer jinx.
Yeah. He said the Rangers announcer said, he's 2 for 2, but he's not having a good night. He's not had a home run yet. He's hit a home run in 3 straight games, but not tonight. Very, very next pitch. No lie, hits it out to right.
Wow.
Like, you know what, Jared Sandler, that's on you, dude.
Hey, that may happen on Saturday. We go live on TikTok for TCU UNC. We may have an announcer's jinx. See if that actually is a thing.
Ooh, we could. Somebody, you're right. I'm thinking about that. That is a great segue.
Thank you.
That is a great segue, because guess what it's time for, folks? It is time for college football preview and the Kirby Bergie High Five. That's the name that we landed on. Credit to Bergie on that one.
I mean, it's not unique, but it's better than, hey, we're gonna pick college games. Like there's gotta be something there, kind of a branding thing. So we're gonna go the Kirby and Bergie High Five.
Here's how we're doing this. We're each gonna pick the same 4 college games, and then we're gonna have our own upset pick. And we have revealed already who our upset picks are because we don't want to pick the same upset.
That's
and
right.
I really didn't check with you on this one. We're going 1 point for each win, then we get 2 points if we get the upset right. You
Love
cool
that.
with that?
Love
cool
that.
With that? Okay.
Yep.
That way, make it a competition between us. And at the end of the year, and we may have to have something that
we're going to put something down on the line. In fact, we would like your suggestions.
Yes, great idea.
If you have some good suggestions, like at the end of the college football season, the winner or the loser, however you want to look at it, of the of the Kirby and Bergie High Five, we're open. We're open to ideas.
Yes.
What does the loser have to do to pay up to the winner? And don't get crazy like some of these fantasy football. Have you seen some of these? That's a whole nother segment for another day. But some of these fantasy football losers, the person who loses their league the previous season, some of the things that they get punished for is crazy. It's awesome, but it's like crazy. And so we're not going to get like that carried away. But we can put something on the line. So anyway.
We're not dumping Duke's mayo on ourselves.
Right. I mean, mayo's kind of gross, but yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe something along those lines. Maybe I'd be okay with.
Hey, real quick, I saw and this is a true story. Like last year, I just laugh at him all the time, and then my algorithm just shows him. But some guy, he lost his league, and he had to enter a open wrestling tournament, like a legit freestyle wrestling tournament, and he had a yellow singlet. And it says, "I suck at fantasy football." And he literally, because wrestling, like there's no like age groups. It's like weight classes. And he was out there wrestling some kid and he was just getting murdered. I thought that's the funniest thing ever is he had to own up for losing. And that keeps you like motivated to do well every week. But that's just an example of like, hey, you're going to have to enroll in or register for an actual open wrestling tournament. So that was really funny to see that. Folks,
Coach Kirb's not doing that.
We're not doing that. We're not going that far. But one was at the Mall of America in Minnesota. Somebody, the loser of their league, had to. It was a contest, but it was like a musical, some sort of like you had to do an audition there in the middle of the Mall of America for like a singing competition or a something, and he had no musical ability whatsoever, and I don't know what he was doing. I don't know if he was playing like that shuffleboard thing or something. It was so funny, and I thought I could not do that. Like, Anyway, just we're not going to do that either, by the way. But there's something there,
and I'll post it too. I'll do a static post on Facebook so people can actually see it. Because people aren't still watching by this time of the episode.
But hey, I'm ready to get to it, man. Let's get to it.
Here we go. Game 1, 11 a.m. I'm not going to say the game time because I don't know all of them, but I know this one's at 11 a.m. because our feature game on Kirbcast this week, 10:45 a.m. By the way, if you've not seen the post yet, Bergie and I will be on live. This game is being played in Dublin, Ireland, and the point spreads are going by what they are today. We realize that they could change, but otherwise we'd be changing all over the place.
That's true. We can't change. Yep.
Game 1, North Carolina versus TCU. TCU is a 7.5 point favorite.
Okay, so you got 7.5 there. Okay, good. So that game would qualify then for an upset pick if we chose to go that route.
It would. Yep.
Foreshadowing, neither one of us are going to touch that game, which I think is interesting. So, all right. So, you just want to go back and forth on this?
We can go alternate. Who goes first? You can go first on this one.
Okay.
I'll go first on the next one.
Probably for me the most intriguing game of the week. Obviously, that's probably why it's in Ireland and it's going to be nationally televised. So, remember last year, Bill Belichick, the head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels, and his 12-year-old girlfriend, he took it the short. TCU goes into Chapel Hill, loses 48-14 in his debut as the UNC coach. So there's going to be a little motivation there.
You're right.
Which I get that. Do you know who the offense coordinator for UNC is this year? Because Belichick got rid of his OC and he brought in.
I forgot. Who is it?
None other than, ironically, Bobby Petrino.
Yes, Bobby Petrino.
So Bobby Petrino, if you guys, I'm not going to talk about his little tryst he had with a young lady on the back of a motorcycle. But that was years ago. I think he was at Arkansas then.
There's so many storylines in this game to be week one.
Yeah, I love it.
Zero.
I love it. I love it. Anyway, he runs a pro-style offense. I mean, very Belichick, right? That's what one back. You're going to see a lot of 10, 11, 12 personnel, which means one running back, one tight end, two tight ends, or no tight ends.
Yep.
Their idea is to be so efficient and so detailed. They actually want to throw the ball down the field. They want a vertical passing game and a physical running game. So I don't know if you can, I don't know, install an offense like that, which I think Belichick kind of similar kind of thoughts last year. It didn't work out the way he wanted to. But I feel like, is there enough time for that to go and work the way you want it to? Probably not. But that is the idea. So if you're watching that game, they do a gap blocking scheme. They want to be punishing runners downfield, and 4 yards with a lot of contact is a good thing in that offense. But they also want to take some shots. So be looking for that. TCU, they lost Kendall Browse. Remember, Kendall Browse went to South Carolina.
Yes,
and he's got so he's running that show. So they got a new OC. They got a guy from UConn. University of Connecticut, and this guy wants to pound the ball too. They averaged 445 yards a game last year, averaged 35 points a game, and they led the nation in fewest turnovers. This is how many turnovers UConn had last year, which is kind of incredible.
That is incredible.
And so he's bringing that to TCU. TCU is not going to be slinging the ball over the yard anymore, at least not in this season. But they want to run the ball. They want to control the clock. They have some questions at linebacker because they lost Caleb Elam's Orr, who's now, he might be a starter for the Bills, by the way. He 4th round pick out of TCU. I'm going to go, based off all that, I'm going to say UNC covers. I'm not going to say they win, but I'm going to say UNC at least covers. And so give me the Tar Heels.
Okay. I'm having to fill yours in. Mine's already filled in.
Okay, good.
And honestly, for that same, I knew that they hammered him last year.
Hammered him.
With the 12-year-old girlfriend. And I just think there's some motivation. TCU did have some locker room. You mentioned it to me today.
They did. Did you see it?
They did have some locker room drama. I heard it after I got home, and somebody told me on one of the lives that I was on today.
Beat the daylights out of his teammate. Yes. And this guy was a starter.
And they've kicked this guy off the team.
Yeah.
Either that or they've suspended him.
They kicked him off the team.
They kicked him off.
Now, he was a guy that transferred in from another school, but he was going to be the starter.
He was one of their dudes.
He was one of their dudes. However, I don't know if he had earned everybody's respect or whatever in that locker room. So I don't know what the impact might be. But, yeah, he literally beat the crap out of one of his teammates. I believe it was a freshman or a guy that this TCU was his, school. That didn't go well. So they got rid of him. And the other young man, I think, is still in the hospital. It's not good.
Yeah, it's just
so
and
distraction.
That's got to be on those guys. That's got to be on those guys' heads and their heads a little bit, especially if they witnessed it. And they're over there in a different country, and you just don't know where their head's going to be at kickoff for game one. That's not what you want going into a brand new season.
No.
And I think TCU wins the game because when you didn't go for this one, I almost jumped on it as an upset, but I don't have enough confidence in North Carolina. I think they cover. I think they're going to cover. So I'm picking North Carolina to cover in this one.
Okay,
so
but not win outright. I would be surprised if Carolina wins it outright. Especially, you know what happens in Ireland every day, right? It rains.
Yes.
The weather could play a part in this.
Year.
That favors a heavy running team. But anyway, it looks like we're on the same page with that one. What's our next game?
Yes. Next game is NC State at Virginia. Virginia is -5.5 on this one. And technically, I'm picking, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm picking an upset, but it's not my upset pick of the week because our rule on our upsets is 7 points or higher. It has to be for us to qualify to get the 2-point bonus for the upset. But NC State, I know Virginia's favored, but I don't know. I've heard good things about NC State, and to be very honest with you, ACC teams I have not really gotten into at all as far as looking at, other than maybe Clemson and a couple in Miami, of course, but. I do have a friend, Rick, the one that always kind of critiques us and watches our podcast faithfully. He is he's a big NC State fan.
Okay.
And I'm kind of doing this. I'm picking them for him because I don't know. I have no faith in Virginia, and they've not impressed me the last couple of years. NC State, I think, is going to be really good from what I have read about them and looked at just what I've seen on the ACC. Haven't done a deep dive, but I think NC State is going to win the game, not just cover. Okay. I think they're going to win the game. We don't
Okay.
get extra points for that, but that's what I'm
No.
calling.
Okay.
So NC
All
State.
right. I agree that NC State's going to be solid. They got a kid named CJ Bailey. He's going to be their quarterback.
Yeah.
From what I've kind of dug into, it's a really tight team. I think the coach is really happy about the cohesiveness, right? The family environment that's going on there. They do have leaders in every position room coming back. That's big. And so that's going to kind of do them well. It is a game on the road. It's in Charlottesville. And you don't think of Charlottesville as you do, like, Norman. But
No.
sneaky Virginia won 11 games last year, right? I mean, they had a really good season. And I know you're not a fan of the schedule and their opponents, but they do return 4 or 5. And this is for you, Kirb. You're my guy. You're my guy in the trenches. They do return 4 or 5 offensive linemen as starters. They actually brought in a 5th lineman who was a starter at a previous school last year, a P4 school.
That
and
makes a huge difference. Makes a huge difference.
It does make a huge difference. And
Didn't know that.
They're returning their defensive front. So if I'm looking, and they like to run the ball, so I'm going to probably say Virginia covers because of that, because they're going to control the trenches. They're going to play their style of football. Yeah, give me the Cavaliers.
Okay, so you're picking them to cover, and obviously.
So they need to win. For those that may not know, they need to win by at least
6,
over more than 5 points. Yeah, more than 5 points.
5.5. So 6. They win by 6.
Yeah, so more than 5 would be 6. Thank you, Kirb. Anyway, that's it. That's what I got.
Okay, Hawaii at Stanford. Stanford is also these last 2 games they're each 5.5 points.
I know I thought that was weird.
Yeah, Stanford's a 5.5 point favorite. Home field probably is playing a lot in that game, the first game of the year. I think you get 4 points for being a home team usually. So 5.5, Stanford favored by Hawaii. So go ahead.
Okay, Timmy Chang. Remember Timmy Chang?
I do remember.
You remember
Timmy
watching
Chang.
late night Hawaii football deep into the Saturday night,
yeah.
and Timmy Chang was slinging it around. I think June Jones, and they were running that run and shoot that nobody else ran, and but Timmy Chang was putting up numbers. Well, he's their head coach. He's their head coach, so he's kind of the prodigal son. And
I like that dude too.
That's a good thing, man, because he can go into homes and they're in Hawaii or in the West Coast and not just speak on the job. This is his, just like we feel about Eisenhower. He feels the same way about University of Hawaii. Hey, they had a 9-4 season last year. Okay, are they in the SEC? No, but it's hard to play at Hawaii because of the travel. It's hard to overcome that, and so. They did win, by the way, the Hawaii Bowl, and so I don't know if that really counts as a legit game. They are playing on grass, right? Stanford is a grass field, and they're in Palo Alto, and they like to keep it long, right? Remember, Andrew Luck is their GM. Andrew Luck's their GM, and smart guy. They are returning their quarterback, who had a 24 TD, 9 interception season, and a 66% completion percentage. So Hawaii is returning some offense and some mojo, right? They got a little bit of momentum. Stanford brought in a new coach. They do have questions at quarterback, but Davis Warren is a transfer from Michigan, so he felt like he wasn't getting any run in Ann Arbor, so he transferred to Stanford, and they were 4-8 last year. And I guess you see where I'm going with this. I'm going to take the Fighting Rainbows of Hawaii to do a little bit of an upset there in Palo Alto. So take it or leave it, Coach Kirb.
Let me type yours in so I don't forget, because I got to put these in the newsletter when I get done. Plus, there we go. Well, I'm going to disagree.
Yes, I love when you disagree.
I'm going to disagree. I'm going Stanford on this one. I know my deal, and the thing is on this one, both teams have new coaches. And
they both do, correct.
All the evaluations and stuff, I hate to use that word evaluations, but I've done on the lives and predicting the Big 12. My big deal is always talking about, man, it's hard to bring in a new staff and be successful.
Yeah.
Game one's tough. So I'm taking Stanford, and I know what Timmy Chang did, and I think he's going to be great at Hawaii. I'm picking Stanford because they're at home. Like you said, they're playing on grass. And
travel's the thing.
They wear it. They keep that grass like Ron Stevens Stadium or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Man, WPA Stadium.
Yeah, WPA, and the grass is tough, and that's going to favor Stanford. And I just think Stanford's going to get it. Yeah, the travel as well. I mean, I'm sure Stanford got there, Hawaii through the jet. I'm sure they're already there. So
they probably are, get acclimated, and that'd be a smart move.
I'm taking Stanford because they're at home. but just because they're at home. Okay, so Bergie's got Hawaii. I've got Stanford to cover and win by 6. So probably, my luck, they'll probably win 17-12. The last game that we're both picking is Memphis at UNLV, who is being quarterbacked by none other than Jackson Fitzgerald Arnold.
There it is. Hey, Kirby, you have the honors on this one.
And for that reason, I am picking Memphis to win this football game.
Wait,
Again,
you're picking the Tigers to win this?
I'm picking Memphis to win the football game. And I have nothing against Jackson Arnold. I think he was thrown into a terrible situation at OU. Seth Luttrell is a former Sooner who played on the national championship in 2000, but he's not a quarterback coach.
Yeah.
He was not coached last year. Then he transfers to Auburn. I don't think he was not coached well there. Hugh Freeze, I think, is an idiot. And I just think he's been in 2 bad situations. I don't know where his head is. I don't know where his head's going to be going into this game. Yes, he's playing at home, and it's, hopefully I hope he has a great year.
Yeah.
I've just seen the dude play for 2 years, and I don't have any faith in him. And that recruitment has been as baffling to me as any I've ever watched, because I saw the dude play twice in high school. And
he was a dude in high school.
National Gatorade Player of the Year.
He was a dude at Denton Guyer.
Yes, it just really shocks me how bad he's done, and I don't know where his head is. So I don't think they're gonna. I'm taking Memphis to win that game for that reason only.
Okay, and something you said, Vegas has a home game.
It's a home game.
Kinda. They're playing at Allegiant. They're not even playing on at their stadium.
Oh, they're playing where the Raiders play.
Yeah, they're playing where the Raiders play, and that's a road game for both teams. To me, like, I know you're in the same city, but you got to get used to your surroundings, and unless they're practicing at Allegiant Stadium, I don't see if there's much of an advantage there.
They may have, but Memphis is a new coach, so.
Yeah, Ryan Silverfield.
That kind of goes against what I said. He's at Arkansas now. God love him being in Arkansas this year, because they're not going to be very good. But
Ryan Silverfield is their coach. Honestly, I think these 2 teams have a chance to compete for that G6 playoff spot. I mean, I think of course, the G6 isn't like a deep field of dude. Now, Boise State, I still think is the favorite. Speaking of Boise State, do you know who Memphis plays week 2? They play in Boise.
In Boise, the Blue Smurf Turf.
Yes,
so in Boise, they have 2 straight road games.
And I'm a fan. Yes,
wow.
I'm a fan of this. When I look at the lines, I give some points up, or I'll add points based off the overlooking factor. Hey, this week we're playing this team, but next week look who we play. Yeah. I think that's human nature.
I didn't think of that.
To look ahead, they go to the Smurf Turf in Boise week 2. And with this being the first game of the season, I don't think there's as much of that. But look for me to look at things like that as we go through the season. Is like, hey, yeah, this game looks like this, but look who they play next week. And now it makes me rethink, like maybe they're looking ahead. Anyway, I'm still going to take UNLV. Memphis doesn't have a starter named at quarterback. That's usually not a good sign. Unless they're trying to keep it secret. Remember, Gundy used to do that? Ooh, who's going to be the quarterback? And then you realize
I do remember that.
Neither one of them are good, and that's kind of what this looks like. But the game is at Allegiant. Remember, head coach, Dan Mullen. Dan Mullen's the head coach at UNLV.
UNLV, yeah. Almost OU's offensive coordinator.
They were 10-4 last year. They got some momentum. They're playing, in their city. Jackson Arnold, I don't know if he's the definitive. Is he the definitive starter? I know they had a quarterback competition,
too. I think he is. I think he's a starter.
Okay, so maybe
Dan Mullen's a good coach. Maybe he can work magic with Jackson Arnold. I hope he can.
Somebody needs to, because that kid he deserves better.
He's got some talent.
Yes,
he's got to pull it out of him.
Give me Vegas with the points. You said 5.5. Is that right?
5.5.
Okay, give me Vegas to cover that.
Okay. All right, I bet you put in there. Okay, we're to our upset pick.
Upset pick.
It was kind of slim pick. There's not a lot of games, and a lot of them are that 5.5. It's a little bit too low for us to be considered our upset pick.
It's either 32 or 5.
Yeah, there was
there weren't many that were right there at that 7, 7.5, 10. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the one I guess I'll go first.
Yep.
I would really love to pick San Jose State to beat USC, but I can't do that.
That's a 30-plus
38
point underdog. We're not stupid.
I don't like Muleshoe at all, but I'm not going to pick San Jose State to beat USC. So I'm going with the Hornets of Sacramento State to beat, I believe it's the Eagles of Eastern Michigan. I think they're the Eagles.
What are you basing that off of, Kirb?
That it was the closest game that it was going to be qualified as an upset. I wish I would honestly.
Besides TCU,
I wish I had gone with the TCU one.
I'm glad we both stayed out of that one just because.
Yeah, that would have been
I think it makes it more intriguing for us.
That would have been low hanging fruit. So
that would have been.
That's why I'm going with this one. I don't know anything about either team. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't. Yeah. You know, as we get into week 1, there'll be more teams playing, and you'll have more background on these teams that are playing. So, and again, that was the only other upset pick that wasn't a 30-point game spread. So that's why I'm picking the Hornets. So go Hornets.
Besides my game, Coach Kirb, come on. All right, you ready for my pick? My upset pick? Yeah. All right, here we go. Last year, do you know where Rich Rodriguez coached last year before he returned to West Virginia? Where did he coach last year?
I did not know he coached anywhere last year.
He coached at Jacksonville State University, the Gamecocks. Now, they're an FCS program. They're an FCS program, but they've actually done some things in the past couple of years in the FCS division. Have 9 wins each. Rich Rod's had 9 wins both years he was there. But he packs up. He's parlayed that. He's going home, country roads. He took 24 players with him, including a stud running back who it was all conference last year. He's going to do some damage there at West Virginia. I think everything I'm about to tell you, and I'm going to pick them, just so you know. They're going to have like 22 new starters. And from a team that had 3,700 rushing yards last year. This is a rushing team. I think they like to do a lot of misdirection. I think they like to get the ball in the hands of their quick guys and just try to do some deception. But 3,700 rushing yards, that's pretty impressive.
That's impressive.
Their O-line is good as well. What they do have coming back is Caleb Creel, quarterback, who had 1,000 yards rushing.
I remember his name.
1,500 yards passing. So there's not a lot of this, but he does enough to keep the defense honest. He's obviously a dual threat guy. I'm gonna pick them, and guess who they're playing? And this is probably a stupid pick, and that's okay. I'm good with that. I'm gonna pick them to upset the North Dakota State Bison in the Fargo Dome. How about that?
That's a bold prediction.
It is a bold prediction. Now, North Dakota State, as we know, has just been a powerhouse. Yeah. They've given Power 4 teams more than they've wanted. I think they've had like 10 national championships in the FCS division. They were undefeated. They were 12-0, and they lost to Illinois State, who got hot at the right time in the playoffs last year. They have a senior quarterback who's never really played. And so I think North Dakota State lost their their top quarterback, their top running back, and their top wide receiver. All are on rosters right now in the NFL. So hopefully they're doing some damage and securing a spot. But what they're good at is just red zone scoring offense. They don't make mistakes, time of possession, third down efficiency. That's what North Dakota State does. They they don't shoot themselves in the foot, and that's why they've been so successful. And I'm still picking the Gamecocks at 7.5-point underdogs for the win.
Yeah, to be clear, on the upset picks, we're not playing point spreads.
No, we're playing straight up.
Winners. For the upset pick only.
The other 22 new starters.
Yeah,
I'm going at the Fargo Dome. I'm taking the Jacksonville State Gamecocks.
I'm kind of pissed at myself because I didn't think about going the FCS route. I just stuck with the FBS. So I
had to find something.
Now I think Sacramento State might be an FCS school, but Eastern Michigan's not. So I didn't even think about looking at those games. Dang, I gotta remember that next week.
With all that being said, are you confused why North Dakota State's only favored by 7.5?
Well, yeah.
To me, that's intriguing. What does Vegas know that I don't?
They may be. I would think that'd be a 2-score favorite over that.
I think so. Playing at home. If I saw that on paper without a line, I would guess North Dakota State, like you said, 14, 16,
at least 14.
But 7.5, I'm thinking, what do they know that I don't know? So I'm just gonna go off a hunch here.
All right. Well, okay. That's the Kirby Bergie high five for week 0. We'll see how those play out. Before we do final thoughts, let's remind you, coming up Saturday, it's here, folks. We are 3 days away from the world premiere of
world premiere.
The world premiere of the Kirbcast with Kirby and Bergie. The way we're going to do this, we're going to come on at 10:45. Jump in here and feel free, because you and I really haven't discussed this like we probably should have before we put this out here. But anyway, we're going to come on at 10:45 just to give people time to get in the room. We'll just kind of be chatting. It'll be on. We
can't show the game.
Pre-game show. We cannot show the game.
But you're going to have a score bug, right?
Yeah, it's not really a score bug because I couldn't get that program downloaded yet because I'm having some technical issues. But I'm going to do a man-made score bug. I'm going to go and change the score and say what quarter it is. So that's something. And it'll have Kirby Bergie at the bottom. So
we'll be watching it off to the left or the right in front of us, and we'll just be commenting.
I'll kind of be straight ahead. It'll be open over mine.
That's probably good. And just
we'll comment and chat with us. Like I said, I've been building it up on our lives. I know the people that come on our lives, and hopefully some of them are watching here because I know they said they were going to. They are excited about it, and I've heard that you're going to get. Somebody said you're going to get 50,000 likes during your live at some point. So
I got 20,000 likes in my life. That's cool.
I got 20,000 yesterday, but I was on 2 hours. But we're going to be on for probably 4 hours, I guess. Maybe.
I mean, once it's all said and done, if the game goes long, and I know we're going to get on early, and then I think at halftime we may take a little break. Is that right?
Yeah,
just to everybody kind of regroup and.
Yeah, may talk for 5 minutes. Then we'll do, and this will be every week that we're on.
Yeah.
Every week we'll talk about the first half for maybe 5 minutes. Halftime's probably 15 to 20. We'll take maybe a 10-minute break, and we'll stay on screen. I mean, the camera will keep rolling. I'm not going to go off and then have to reconnect. I'm not doing that.
No.
On TikTok Live. But yeah, I mean, you may see me taking a drink of something, but I'll be doing that the whole game anyway. So, but anyway, so that's how that's going to roll. We'll do the second half, and we'll talk for a few minutes when the game ends, and then we'll be done. Now, it won't be every single week. We may miss a week or so. I mean, every so often, because like I'm going to be on, unless Bergie wants to do it by himself. When I go to Starkville or if I go to an OU game, that's entirely up to you.
Or Thursday. If we do a Thursday that week.
Thursday game, it may be me doing it, and because I know you may have some Thursday responsibilities, right?
Sometimes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hey, there's some weeks I'm game for doing Thursday and Saturday.
Yeah.
But I'm cool with that. So maybe if we don't do a Saturday one week, we can do a Saturday the week before, the week after. So we'll make up for it. But
what time is kickoff in Starkville? Have they announced that yet?
They have not announced that yet.
Okay. Because if it's a night game, then you could be in the hotel room doing 11 o'clock, or you might be. Never mind.
Yeah.
Never stop. I'll stop. My bad. I
don't know about
that.
I had
a brain fart right there.
I don't know about that one, but anyway. It's not going to be a night game. I think it's either it's got that window. I think they've said 1:30. I think they said 1 o'clock or 2:30. I think is the window.
Gotcha.
So we're hoping it's a 2:30 game.
Hey, we're here, man. The college season's upon us.
Yes.
We've been waiting for this for a long time. So, like I said, you don't have to analyze football. You can just jump on and just be with us. And we're not going to say something about every play. We're not on TV. We're going to give our opinions. We're going to give hey, did you see that? You know what I mean? And we might even have comments about, when they cut out to like what's going on in Dublin that day. Like, oh, that looks good. You know what I mean? Like it's not just football. It's, it's sports.
We may ask if anybody's ever been to Dublin.
Yes.
Tell us about if you've ever been there, how that trip was.
Yeah, we'll use the game as a backdrop, and so that'll be kind of cool. I'm looking forward to it.
I am too. Now when OU's playing, if we do an OU game, I'm probably going to be a little more zeroed in.
That's your call.
Yeah,
and that's fine too.
But the next week we're doing Oklahoma State. So
okay, I can be the comedy relief during Sooner games if you want.
Probably
me
a good idea because Coach Kirb might have some language. I might have to hit my mute button occasionally.
We can't do
that. But it's going to be fun. We're excited about it. We hope everybody can join us, and just even if you come in for a little bit, have to leave, come back. We'll be here the whole time. So.
Yep.
All right. Anything else? Final thoughts?
My only final thought is, and I know we went long today, but I want to say thank you again to Brad Cooksey for jumping in and sharing, his experiences and his thoughts of Butch Huskey. Appreciate you, Brad. And it was worth it. So maybe down the road we can do it again.
Yep. Thank you to everyone who was there last week, who paid your respects to Butch, who said nothing but said kind words about the podcast. Me and Bergie, Sue and Dave Hill said they loved it, and they watch it. They watch it pretty religiously, and I was blown away by how many people in Lawton watch our podcast.
That's cool.
I got a lot of compliments on how good it is and how good we are together, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right?
Wow.
But anyway, thank y'all for the support for the family, and on behalf of my family, thanks for everyone for all the kind text messages, checking on Christy, their girls, and they're doing great. They're dealing. They're moving forward. Obviously, still miss Butch. We'll always miss Butch. We all will. But thank y'all so much for all the support y'all gave last week. But I'm going to stop before I get emotional.
Yeah, don't do that. Come on.
I'm not.
Fight through it.
I am. I'm not. We have football tomorrow tonight, folks, because this is Thursday that you're seeing this. So FCS. Hopefully, you're enjoying that after you watch the podcast.
That's right.
But that's it. We will see you guys Saturday morning at 10:45 a.m.
Let's go.
TikTok. It is on TikTok. It is not on
TikTok.
It's not on YouTube. We may get to where we can do both. I haven't told Bergie about that one yet, but I'm still working on that. But we'll see. But we'll be TikTok for sure. Okay. He's Kirby. I'm Bergie. We're two Okies getting it done. Y'all have a great week. We'll see you Saturday.